It's the breakdown of school, year 5, part 2. Incident 6, on the same day, as in 25th of October 2022. Only 20 minutes later. So, I'm just going to go back a bit. Incident 1 was on the 15th of September. Incident 2 happened 8 days later. Incident 3 happened 5 days after Incident 2. Incident 4 happened 26 days after Incident 3. Incident 5 happened 1 day after Incident 4. And then Incident 6 happened 20 minutes after Incident 5. I left study. This was at the very end of the day. Might have been half day, I don't remember. Left study, and people who were walking behind me told me that my water bottle was leaking. I took it out and tried to pour the rest onto the grass because it was nearly full, and the cap wouldn't go back on. So basically, I was using the same water bottle for about a week or two, and over time, it degrades. Like, if you pick up a new water bottle, like one of those plastic ones, and you just feel it, and then you feel like an older one, you can tell that the older one is breaking down. Like, it's more likely to leak. So, you know, because the cap wouldn't go back on, right, you have three options for something like this. Either put the cap back on, drink it, or pour it out. I couldn't drink it because it was nearly full, and I would have pissed myself, because it's like, it's a big one. I've got the same type of water, 750ml. You know, ever since I did that film last year, even having a little bit of water makes me want to piss. 750ml would have fucked me up. Couldn't drink it all. So, couldn't put the cap back on because what, it's degraded. Just can't put it back on. So the only other option was to pour it onto the grass. The head of year one of the head of years from GCSE, someone I used to have a hell of a lot of respect for, shouted at me because I'm not supposed to do that, despite the fact that I've seen teachers do it all the time with their team. I'm pretty sure I've seen her do it a couple of times, even if it's just once. Apparently I'm supposed to do it at the drain. Well, problem being, 1, I don't know where the drain is, and 2, I don't have enough time. It's at the end of the day. My bus is the first one to go. I was in a rush. Anyway. Incident 7 was on the 11th of November. Although, I only wrote this section on the 12th of February. Because I completely forgot about it because it was so minor. But on the 9th of November, I had duty. Because that was just normal. You know. But a student who is responsible for duties shouted at me because I wasn't where I was supposed to be. So what happened was that me and Ginger got the same duty. We were supposed to be at the playground, period 6 on a Wednesday. The driver and bin man got a duty in science, same day, same time. And on the first day we had duty, me and Ginger both decided, fuck it, we're just going to spend our duty in there. And we did that. And the only person that had a problem with it was this Ginger bitch who is she's a teacher. She is a fucking she has got to stick up her ass for the rules. And I never wrote this down, even though I should have. But the only time that I didn't see her enforcing the rules was another teacher was shouting at a student for something. And that teacher said something close to a swear. It might have been like bitch or something. Like the ginger teacher was right next to that other teacher when she said that, and the student that they were shouting at, I was like, whoa, miss, did you hear? She just said a swear word. It's like, I didn't hear anything. Go fuck yourself. Like, so when it comes to us, we need to follow the rules exactly. But when it comes to you can do whatever the fuck you want. Go fuck yourself. Like, I don't like people getting fired. So I wouldn't want to fire her, but she does deserve some form of punishment. I just don't know what that would be. Anyway. So other than her going, oh, but you just want to be outside. From her, we had no problems with doing J in science. But, you know, this student who's responsible shouted at me because I wasn't where I was supposed to be. I thought, she shouted at me specifically. She didn't say anything ginger. Like, I'm not saying that there's a... What's the word here? A hidden intent or anything like that. Just, if you're going to shout it at one person, shout at every person that is responsible, that is guilty, you know? Not fair. So I didn't say anything to her, but I did say something to her friend. I don't remember what it was though. It might have been like Rule 60, which is you know, we deal with problems when they come. So basically, they're like, oh, we're only looking out for you because the principal is over there and she's going to come in and be like, you guys aren't supposed to be here. And I was like, well, I will deal with that if she comes here. Like, the best way I can describe Rule 60 is what inspired it. So in season 5 of The Flash, the bad guy is a guy called Cicada. He's a serial killer of metahumans. He uses this shard that was taken from a Star Labs satellite that crashed at the end of season 4. And that sort of gives him, like, that's what he uses to kill metahumans. But in the future, in like 2040, that same shard is used to like inhibit Reverse Flash's powers, and he's on death row. So at the end of the season, they're like, right, we have a choice. Either we let Cicada go and Reverse Flash dies, or we destroy the shard, capture Cicada, but Reverse Flash gets out, and Barry just says, he didn't say we deal with this problem when we get to it, but he said, right, we'll destroy the shard, capture Cicada. Yes, Reverse Flash will get out. He'll come after me, but we'll deal with him when he comes. Anyway, it's an 8. Oh no, sorry, hold on. She reported me for being aggressive to her or something, and then I had an argument with female head of year. It's an 8. 9th of January. They were given homework in English to research newspapers that Margaret Atwood might have read that inspired her to write The Handmaid's Tale, and the same for Cormac McCarthy and The Road. I couldn't get this homework done and was explaining to Ginger why I couldn't, as he is in my class but hadn't started the homework yet. I explained why I couldn't with Atwood, and then I said, and with McCarthy, and the media teacher who has a similar last name, was passing at the same time and overheard me. What did you say? What? His name? No, McCarthy. He must have heard me correctly, as he warned the class at least 3 times throughout the lesson that we shouldn't talk rubbish about him. After the class went to the mentor and explained what happened to her, she suggested that I talk to him, and if he is still angry at me, she would talk to him. I talked to him at the end of the day, and he apologized. Incident 9. C. Incident 4 for context. 19th. Decided to get a grade jumper from Adeline, as everyone I talked to said there was no official strength for jumper, so it's really just wherever you can get a grade jumper from, get it. Doesn't matter, like, the pattern, if there's any kind of pattern or anything like that, if it's V-neck or non-V-neck. If it's grey and it's a jumper, it's fine. So I got one from Adeline. I worked throughout November, December, and the first half of January, but today, the study teacher, who usually says for everyone that takes off, right, she says, take off your coats, hats, scarves, etc. She never said jumpers. Well, she did it on the 19th. And I reported it to the mentor who, asked if it was an official jumper. I explained that no such thing exists. At the time, I couldn't see where the study teacher was, so I asked Jack. He said she was in the bathroom or something. Turns out she was looking at my iPad the entire time. Hold on, there's shit to be taken in. And I don't know if this was Incident 9 or something that happened later, but it turns out that maybe it might have been a glitch or something, but just there was something not good. So she spent quite a while looking at my iPad one day. It might have been this, it might have been another. I don't think it was this day because it wasn't Jack next to me, it was someone else. I saw the icon pop up. And then she went off her iPad, went on the computer, but yet the icon was still there. So either she was hovering on it, it takes a while to go off, or she's looking at it through her computer. Either way, screams of terror, Anyway. Mentor passed this on to Mailhead a year, who's going to talk to her. I've asked both of them to deal with it without getting her involved. Incident 10, 8th of February. While I was getting lunch, a song by Arctic Monkeys was stuck in my head. I got my phone out to look it up. It was Start From It. My year 10 form teacher saw this and told me to give it to him. Even though what I'm confused about is how he's able to do that, because voice breaker. He came out from the English department. We were at the bottom of the ramp, and I was sort of covered by the driver. He was kind of hard to see me on the phone, but yet he saw it anyway. I'm not saying that there's he was intentionally looking out for it or something. Well, technically he was, but not in that way. But just, I don't know how he saw it, is what I'm saying. I explained that for some reason, which I don't know, my mum doesn't want teachers to take my phone without first asking her. He asked if I wanted to go to Mailhead a year, and I said yes. On the way, I made a comment about asking study teacher something, but then took it back, saying that it applies to everyone as everyone hates me. He either ignored me or didn't hear me, the cunt. Male Head of Year was with the PE teacher, and I explained to them about Mum wanting them to phone her. They refused, as predicted, and this started a back and forth of we came to an agreement. I don't care. It didn't last long, as the Male Head of Year threatened me with a C2 and or 3 and or 4 and or this was 5 months ago nearly. So my memory's a bit not good with it. But I wrote this the day that it happened. And I'm pretty sure he did say, C2 and or 3 and or 4 and or 5. Whatever the fuck that means. Anyway. Hold on, I should scroll down so that I know where I am. I then said that it doesn't matter as I'm already expelled. I then said in a non-emotional way, don't threaten me, because I didn't say the word please. The PE teacher shouted, "How dare you threaten us? We don't get paid to deal with blah blah blah." The usual rubbish when a student stands up to their bullying. Male Head of Year gave me a choice: escalate the situation and back down. I'm sure that the choice is fight or flight. I thought about it for about 15 seconds, eventually deciding flight, explaining that my phone can't be turned off because of a faulty wire, and they were surprisingly fine with it. As I was leaving, I explained to the Male Head of Year that I shouldn't be in trouble because I am an unofficial student, a ghost. Apparently, the PE teacher was in shock because he never thought I would say something like that because he thinks he knows me. I emailed them asking if I went to the nurture room. Sorry, my grammar is bad on this. Asking that. I'm just going to read this out word for word, even though it's not grammatically good. I emailed them asking if I went to the nurture room where last year's mentor was, who I haven't talked to since last year. I briefly explained to her what happened, and she started talking about Black Panther to distract me. A student entered explaining that Male Head of Year was looking for me. I went to him, and it was basically the same, but in a calm manner. Do you think that was appropriate? Yes/no, because I explained that he knows nothing since we hadn't talked since as a 5, and he said that it was irrelevant when it isn't. Later, the PE teacher asked to speak with me and also Female Head of Year, saying that he was disturbed by the email because no one hates me and that he knows the internet is bad and I just have to deal with it. I said the next day I'm in, I will write every time the internet isn't working, which what I was trying to do, etc. And I did that. I wrote like time, date. I was trying to read. Internet bad. About like say 10 minutes later. Got a homework, can't do it, internet bad. And I signed it like, if the internet is bad this many times in a small period of time, I'm just gonna use hotspot. Because that's what the main argument for not taking my phone away was, because I needed the fucking hotspot. So that leads to probably the last thing I'll talk about year 5. Most of the year was spent just trying to make sure that so in year 4, they took a little bit getting Google Play books on the iPad, and once they did, I downloaded every book that I had at the time on there. So it just completely ruined the iPad storage. So I spent a good bit of last year trying to fix all that by reading, but it wasn't I wasn't worried about it, but this year I was. I spent most of my time doing that. And what made it worse is the fact that so one of the books I had on there was, I had the entire Spider-Gwen series. But there's 2 crossovers in Spider-Gwen. You have one called Spider-Women, which it's the only reason why I started reading Spider-Gwen, because I've been reading Silk since 2020. And Silk is also in the crossover, so I read every Silk issue before the crossover, then every Spider-Gwen issue before the crossover, and then it's also crosses over with Spider-Woman at Jess Drew. So Sorry, I forgot what I'm saying. So, I read every issue of that Jester series before Spider-Woman. Then I read Spider-Woman. Finished Silk. I haven't bought any more Spider-Woman's Jester since. I read a bit more of Spider-Gwen, but then there's another crossover with the 2016 run on Spider-Man, which I hadn't read any of, so I read the first, say, 5 issues of that run. The crossover starts in issue 10. Well, issue 6 said Civil War 2 on it. So I thought I'm best off reading Civil War 1 as well, because I never read it at the time. So I was like, what do you need to read before Civil War 1? You need to read Avengers Disassembled, which that wasn't that long. It was basically just 4 guys. Spider-Man gets organic webs. Iron Man gets his identity exposed, but then he pulls some bullshit where it's like, yeah, I was Iron Man, but I'm no longer Iron Man. Then he goes back to being Iron Man. Vision dies. Hawkeye dies. She-Hulk gets injured. And because Vision dies, Scarlet Witch has a mental breakdown, and Magneto, who is her dad in the comics, just fucks off with her. And then that leads into House of M, where he manipulates her into basically rewriting reality so mutants run the world and all that. That was a good story, but that was a bit long. Quite long. Then you have Decimated, which that's end of then House M. Scarlet Witch U-turns, but fucks up even more by deciding to nearly kill every mutant, or at least get rid of their powers. And then you read Civil War. And then before you read Civil War 2, you read Assault on Pleasant Hill. That was quite short as well. Then there's Civil War 2. I don't know why I explained House of M and Avengers Disassembled. But it's just, you read all those, then you read Civil War 2, and then I finally got around to was able to finish Spider-Gwen. That was from... It definitely went all of December, and most, if not all, of January. So let's just say 2 months for a little payoff, where DC... I read the tie-ins to Crisis, because I read Crisis last year. Then read... Next up was Zero War, but there's a lot of things you need before Zero War. So you need Armageddon, Death of Superman, a couple of things Green Lantern. I think that's it. Then Zero War, did all that. Read the tie-ins to the Identity Crisis, because I read Identity Crisis last year, because Identity Crisis leads in the Infinite Crisis. Read all of Infinite Crisis. Then you read Seven Soldiers, 52 and Countdown. Then you get the Final Crisis. Did all that. So that I could read Infinite Crisis and Final Crisis. But then after that, what the plan was that I was going to read Blackest Night, Brightest Day, the Flashpoint tie-ins, because I already read Flashpoint like 5 years ago. And then New 52. And New 52 is where most of the comics that I downloaded came from. But I decided, I have less than a month left until I have to get my iPad back, because this is like May or June now. So I'm just gonna skip Blackest Night, Brightest Day, and Flashpoint, just go on the New 52. So I did that, and that was more complicated than it should have been. So what I did was that I have the New 52 split up into 37 chapters. And those chapters have sub-chapters, so you have like 2.1, 2.2, all that. I read until uh, like most of 2.2 before deciding fuck it. Most of these are irrelevant to what I've downloaded because what I've downloaded is basically all just Batman. So I'm just going to read everything that's related to Batman. So Batman, Batman and Robin, Detective Comics, Dark Knight, Nightwing, Catwoman, Batgirl, Batwoman. That's 8 different series. I think there's another 2 though. That I just forget right now. Because, like, Volumes 2 and 3 are crossovers with the entire Bat family. But then... Oh, I read 4 and 5 first because they're prequels, and that's what the order said because it's Comic Treasury. So, after I finished Volume 3 of Batman, I was like, I've got just over a week left to read 15 books. It is 2 or 3 Batman volumes. We'll say 2 or 3 Catwoman volumes. A crossover between Superman and Wonder Woman. And then just like books. It's like, yeah, it's impossible. I mean, I knew it was impossible with those books, but I was just going to delete those, so I did delete those. Because when it comes to Google the books, something you've done, like you have 3 options. You can mark something as read, which will delete it off your device, but it will stay in your library. You can delete something from your library, which means it's gone, and the only way that you can't get it back into your library as far as I know. You can still read it, but you need to go on the Google Play Store, pick that specific book, hit read, and even when you hit read, it doesn't put it back in your library. So, and then there's also remove download, which that was the, that's what I did. I removed downloads for the books. I decided, you know what, I'll do it for Batman as well. I will remove, I think it was 6, 7, and 8. So I'll remove 7 and 8, then I'll read 6, and then I'll do the same with Catwoman. Just they were different numbers. It was 3, 4, 5. I'll remove 4 and 5. But I was like, I've actually started volume 6 of Batman, so I'll just delete that. So then I finished Catwoman, that volume 3. So I think at that point, the only thing that I had left was Game of Thrones, because I had already started Game of Thrones, and I read most of it on the phone, but I also tried to download it on my iPad, but my iPad went to a different page, because you really, when it comes to Google Play Books, you really should not read a book on multiple different devices, because it just completely fucks it up. So, bits and pieces tell me I was on like page 212, 250, 500 and something, all that. I think I went to 250. Just went from there. So yeah, that's it.